So we can start now. Hi everyone, this is Nazarbayev University Graduate School of Education webinar series. Today we have information session devoted for one of the master's program that are being proposed at GEC. It's higher education program. Today we have students and alumni presenting this program. So shortly I will give the floor to Valeriya. Valeriya is a first year master student in the higher education program. Valeriya, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dina. Hello, everyone. Welcome, dear potential students. So we are hoping that you will find our session useful, and we're looking for talented, ambitious future leaders of education. So if we go to the next slide, I'm just going to have a brief information about myself. My name is Valeriya. I'm a first MSc student in educational leadership program in higher education. Right now, I'm doing my second semester. So if we go to the next slide, I would love to also share my own experience as well as what's happening in the program right now. So basically, the first question is, who is this program for? The program is mainly oriented at the students who not only work already in educational institutions at universities, but also for those students who only want to start their career in this particular field. For example, what about me? I have never worked in a university, in a college. I'm a fresh graduate of the bachelor's degree. And personally, I had 1 year in between my master's studies and the graduation from the university. Right now I am I'm studying here at GSC to start my career in the higher education. So this is not just for those people who already work here, but also in educational institutions, but also for those people who want to be teachers, maybe to work as administrators at universities. On the next slide, I would love to present the information about, if you have some work. So if you're working right now and you don't know whether you can juggle work and your studies, this program is perfect for you. Because personally, I'm also working as a teacher of English right now, so I am able to combine my work and studies. Basically at GSC right now, because of online courses, because of online studying, we have intensive sessions, which are conducted on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 3 to 7 p.m., which works really good for everyone who works, because in advance, yes, you can ask your employers, you can ask your bosses for some time off, so you can arrange, so this time on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday could suit your schedule as well. And a lot of students that are also in my group of higher education, all of them are working, and they find the schedule very convenient and comfortable for them. So do not be afraid to miss maybe some of your studies, or to think that you will not have time to, to work or dedicate your time to studying. This program has a very comfortable schedule. On the next slide, yes, I would love to present some tips to prepare for your admission. Again, I'm going to reflect on my personal experience as well. It might sound cliche, but of course your documents have to be ready. So even when you apply for the program and you don't know whether you will be admitted to this program or not, you need to take a look at the website and to see the list, of the, not only of the exams that you need to take, but also of the documents that you need to have. Because prior to even being interviewed, I personally looked at some of the documents that I needed to have, and I started preparing them. So I didn't want to put them at the last minute. It's always better to have everything ready before. So next, once you apply for the program, you will be invited for the interview. It can take the time between your application, yes, when you submitted your application, and the time when you are going to be interviewed. It can be, the time can vary. It can be 1 month, it can be 2 weeks. So you need to always check your emails as often as possible, because it will be sent, the invitation to the interview will be sent via email. At an interview, as I remember, I was asked about some of the news regarding the higher education. And I personally always read something that's related to this sphere. I always read the news. So I would suggest, if you are interested in this program, you need to also, keep in touch with some news resources. And at an interview, you can be asked many different questions, and just be ready to answer them, and try to be calm as possible. All right, again, it might sound cliche, but it really helps. Also try to be different, try to express your own views. If you're asked, for instance, one of my classmates, group mates, they were asked how they could change the higher education in Kazakhstan. So if you have your own unique vision of some of the topics, of some solution to the problems, do not be afraid to speak up and share your own views. Next, if we take a look at the next slide, please. So if you get admitted, basically you'll be sent a list of the documents that you need to make and that you need to prepare. If you are not from Astana, I strongly suggest that if you send the packet of your documents via mail, or maybe through some people that that are based in Nur-Sultan, they have to be reliable as well. Because I remember one time when I was waiting in line for the documents, to give the documents to the committee at Nazarbayev University, the delivery man, he didn't know who to ask, he didn't know, who to speak with, and he just left the packet of the documents outside, basically. So in this case, you really need to find a very reliable, courier service, or maybe people who could help you deliver your documents safely. If you're in Astana, it's also based on my experience, because you need to have a medical form as well. If you don't want to spend a lot of days, getting this medical services and doing some medical tests, you can just go to Центр народной медицины, that's in Astana. And I went there and I got all the medical things that I needed in just one day. I had to pay a fee for that. The fee last year was 11,000 tenge. So, I mean, I think that's also some useful information, because I was busy, with work, and I couldn't just go do my medical test a few days a week. So I just did everything I did in just one day. And again, don't forget, if you're bringing some documents, original documents, do not forget to bring copies, as well as don't forget to bring the original documents as well. So everything has to be very, I would say, carefully observed, and carefully prepared. Lastly, I would love to share also my experience about studying at GSE. I started studying on August the 16th last year. And basically we started online, so I haven't had an experience of studying offline yet. But even though we started studying online, the experience has been wonderful, because you should know that even if your studies might begin online, or even if they're offline, you should know that there is a great support that comes from teachers, that comes from administrators. You can always ask any questions, and they will always help you. So my experience of learning online has been wonderful. I would say what's awaiting you if you are admitted. So I would, again, from my personal experience, I have never worked in this intensive mode before. So I would say you need to prepare yourselves for quite a bit of reading, because if you're studying intensively, you will need to read a lot as well to be prepared for your next lesson, for your next courses. So I would suggest improving your time management skills, your reading skills as well, because there might be quite a bit of information, quite a lot of information, and you need to process this information in order to have discussions in your groups. Also, I would suggest that you need to also have social skills as well, to be able to learn to work in groups, to be able to work with people, because in our courses, throughout our courses, we have always had a lot of group discussions. We have had group projects as well. And I understand sometimes maybe for some people it's difficult to work in groups, but we focus on working in groups and working together. So that's a major part of the course. I would also say, again, it's based on my experience, do not be afraid to speak up in classes. Even if you're a fresh graduate, maybe you have had some work experience. There are different ages, different groups of people. So don't be afraid to speak up, because the teachers will always listen to you, the students will always listen to you, and the environment, the atmosphere is always very respectful. Also, I would suggest, and I take it from my last course in educational leadership, we studied in this course how to apply all the skills in our work, work settings. So try to incorporate what you have learned already, even while talking to people, even while to groupmates. Try to incorporate all the skills that you're learning in your work setting as well. Last but not least, what I like about our courses at GSE is that the teachers are also creative, and the students also have to be creative too. It's not just, reading and writing something and just like having this boring, like, let's say, classes or boring homework. There have been a lot of interesting projects. For example, in my last courses last autumn, we had some group projects where we had to be creative, but our project was related to the education in the higher education. It was really interesting. We had to make posters. Some people made cartoons, movies. So I would say be creative as well. Try to apply all the learned skills at GSE, and we will be happy to see you at our university. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valeriya. Very interesting, and I think this will be helpful for our applicants as well. So our next speaker is Yerkezhan Ybyrayeva. Yerkezhan is a second-year higher education student. Yerkezhan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dina. Hello, everyone. In a minute, I am going to share my desktop. So can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so hello, everyone. My name is Yerkezhan. I am the second year MSc student, and this is my presentation on recommendations for future students. Okay, so here you can see the content of this presentation. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a little bit about admissions process, impressive courses, online learning experience, maybe emotional burnout, syllabus, networking, and so on. Okay, let's start. So firstly, let me introduce myself, a little about me. I have graduated Süleyman Demirel University. I have a bachelor degree in 2 foreign languages, and now I am a second year master's student in educational leadership at Nazarbayev University, higher education track. Experience, now I work as a content creator at the Center for Professional Development and Innovations at Süleyman Demirel University, and also I am an English language instructor here. Before, I also have the experience of working in schools as again, English language instructor. Okay, now let's start with the admissions process. So first of all, what you will need while applying to this specialty, right? Educational leadership. So first of all, it is motivation letter. What it should include. So first of all, why do you want to study at Nazarbayev University? Why exactly this university? Have you encountered any kind of problems which you would like to address? And so on. Also, you will need the curriculum vitae, your CV. Maybe you have some work experience at higher educational institutions, or like any kind of experience, your personal background, and so on, your professional background. Next one is the letter of recommendations. So you will need these recommendation letters from your professors, from your teachers, or if you have them, your employers. The interview part, I would like to say like, how to say, I would like to talk about the interview part very okay, make an accent on this. So while I was applying to the Nazarbayev University, I applied like twice, 2 years in a row. So first time I couldn't get to the university. It was because of this part, because of the interview part. I didn't look at the issues of higher education, and when I was asked questions, I babbled whatever came into my head. So I now think that if I had been in the admissions office, admissions shoes, I wouldn't have accepted myself either. So my recommendation for you is to prepare well for your interview, to prepare well for the questions. For example, what kind of issues you think there are in the higher education sphere, and so on. Also, the last recommendation for you is to contact admissions. So if you have any questions, they will always try to help you. So if you have any difficulties, they will try to assist you all the times. Okay, next one is benefits of the graduate school of education, exactly, educational leadership. So first of all, it is the ability of combining work and study. So you'll have the opportunity to both study and work. As far as I know, other majors don't have that option. Next one is great faculty staff. The fact that you will gain like very important knowledge in the field of education. So if you look at the faculty staff, like on the site of Nazarbayev University, you may find that the professors are like completely different, but at the same time, all of them are incredibly experienced and have education like in top universities worldwide. So those professors are not only like theorists, but also practitioners. So in this faculty staff, we have people like we had people like Darkhan Bilalov or Aslan Senejipov and so on. Next one is that your opinion always matters. I'm sorry. Here, yeah. At the end of each course, you will be given an opportunity to give a feedback to the course, to the professor, and so on, so that you can be heard to the faculty. Yeah. Yeah, important knowledge. I also told about that you will be able to dive into the world and the history of the higher education sphere. You will be able to learn about the maybe USSR higher educational system, or like how the Nazarbayev University was built, the experience and history of this university. And also you will write papers on the reforms that you would like to implement in educational sphere. So this is the great opportunity for those people who are maybe already working in higher education, maybe in state organizations, and who are focused on the problems of higher education and who have encountered some problems. Okay, and the last one is research skills. So research, like right now, is globally important. So if you want to pursue, for example, further study in PhD, you will need these skills. So this is the right place where you can gain them. Next one, I would like to say about the most impressive courses, in my opinion. So in fact, there were many great courses, but I singled out just two of them. The names are similar. You can see here research methods, but quantitative and qualitative. Well, first of all, the reason for choosing these two courses is that they are the most necessary ones for you, because you will directly use these methods during your thesis work. And if you miss any important information, there will be confusion later on. Well, I would like, however, I would like to point out exactly these courses because they were very interesting because of these two professors. The first person is like Ali Aitsi Muhammad. He is like just a great example of someone who teaches with kindness, with his heart, and who loves what he does. So if you get this particular professor, you will succeed in quantitative method. Also, he is an excellent educator who combines building good relationships with students and who teaches like with really good techniques and methods. Yeah, next one is Professor Dina. She is also a great example of teacher who always energizes students and keeps them from getting tired during the session. I would also recommend you to read her works in order to get acquainted. Okay, now online learning experience. So both two my years of my education were set online due to the COVID situation. In spite of that, the professors were able to create a learning atmosphere through the screen. But this effort on the part of the professor is not enough, actually. Effort is required of you as well. So first of all, create your own learning atmosphere for yourself. Well, if you will have to learn online. For example, ask your parents, relatives to leave you alone for a couple of hours so that no one disturbs you. Next one is it is very important to be self-motivated here, as it is like really easy to lose interest in learning, and it is very important to develop this interest yourself. Well, faculty staff, again, faculty staff professors did really great job as teaching, as conducting the sessions very interesting, so that we had this motivation in ourselves. And also office hours. For example, in any syllabus, you can see that every professor have their office hours. If you do not understand something during the session, if you have any questions, any professor can conduct, for example, this office hour with you, during which you can contact them to clarify something. So it is a good way to be in touch with your instructor at all times. Yeah, so for example, if you have any questions, you can, if you felt shy asking them on the session, you can ask them at office hours. I can have my own example, there was an assignment to write a reflection on the article on globalization. Well, because we didn't specify, we got only 3 points out of 10. Yeah, so you can use them. Okay, next one, I wanted to talk about the emotional burnout. So here, a little quote: emotional burnout can be that itch at the back you can't reach, but it is there nonetheless. So how to deal with it? As you know, on this educational leadership track, you can both work and study, right? However, it is kind of hard to combine all of them. So if you need any psychological help, you can always turn to psychologists at our university. We have health and wellness center. Students use the student portal to make an appointment with a psychologist. So because of the workload, some of us may feel some difficulties. Other than we work and study, we can also be like someone's wives, husbands, mothers, fathers, and so on, right? So all of these factors can affect the study very much. So if you run into any problems, you know that university will always be able to help you. Yeah. Next one is syllabus. Yeah, so at the beginning of each course, you are sent a syllabus of this course. Please read it carefully because it has all the highlights of your course. And if there is anything you don't like, you can always make you can suggest any changes to your professor. For example, if you come across the fact that during the whole course, you will have only individual assignments, but you think it would be better to do them in groups, then feel free to advise it to the professor by well arguing it. For example, we will learn from each other, we are going to share ideas and so on. So the same thing about the deadlines. All deadlines are listed in the syllabus. However, also Nazarbayev University has the policy of if you exceed the deadline, they will then you will have minus 10% of your actual grade. So be sure to submit your work before the deadline. However, if you and your whole whole group thinks that you are not going to make it by the deadline, you can always ask professor to help you and to exceed the deadline. Yeah, and also I would like to add some points to the Valeriya speech about the creativity. I didn't add it here. So don't be afraid to add creativity to your works. There are assignments where you have to create a PPT, presentations, and so on. So instead of monotonous speech, you can always prepare a song, to create a poem or make a video and so on. And even if it is presentations, you can always make them really creative. For example, one of our professors said wow, I have never seen that much that creative presentations. And she also asked us whether we can suggest her the site of where we can have this kind of presentations, the templates. Okay, next one is networking. After graduating university, if you are not working now, after graduating, you will have to work, right? So your group is likely to include people of all ages. So you will meet people working in high positions, maybe people who invest time and effort in some educational projects. So please establish contacts. It is really important to you. This will help you in your future career. So networking is everything. I am just only now understanding it. However, I have one example on my own. Even we had online classes, our group mates, arranged once every 6 months meetings on holidays and so on. So most of my group mates are already people who have very great experience. And for example, now I am working as a content creator. I prepare courses for the teachers. I could always contact them to help me in order for them to be speakers on my courses and so on. So yeah, this is one of the examples. Okay, next one is I wanted to talk about the Career Advising Center. At the university, we have this center. You can always register at CAC, and you can receive newsletters with opportunities in the job sphere and opportunity. So this is the really great opportunity to find a job. Yeah, so for example, I found my current job by this CAC because they always sent me the advertisements or notifications on trending jobs. Okay, next one is Writing Center. So at the university, we have the Writing Center. This center is committed to fostering an environment where students, both undergraduate and graduate, learn to become more effective and confident writers. This center helps students with their works, with their writing works. This can be academic assignments or professional writers. Academic assignments, these are the assignments which you are giving on your study, for example, papers or articles and so on, and professional writing. For example, you would really like to apply to the PhD, right? And you have to write motivational letter. So you can always have their help in order to modify your letters. Okay, so by this center helps to students so that they could be better prepared to evaluate and revise their written works. Okay. And I think, yeah, the last for today is the thesis work. So at the end of the of your master's, you will have to submit your thesis work. So first recommendation for you is to choose the topic for your thesis. So if you're already sure what topic you want to write your thesis, that's like really great. However, if you are not sure yet, that's fine. So but the advice is for you is to like choose the topic as early as possible, because while you will have your courses like research methods and so on, you will be able to, for example, analyze your data or analyze the sphere according to your topic. So that will be like, that will assist you very much. And also during your other courses, save articles, reading materials, which I think will be needed. Well, however, they are stored on the Moodle, so you can be, or you can always like get back to them. Next one is to write regularly. So I have I have the situation where I finished my undergraduate thesis literally in a couple of weeks. So this kind of situation will not pass here. So you definitely need to write a little bit like each time. It will make this process easier for both to you and your advisor. Always keep in touch with your your advisor, your academic English instructor. Maybe if you need help of the writing center, then also them. And also I would like to add this thing about the city training and NU ethics committee. Before collecting your data, you will have to have these certificates in order to be like familiar with the ethical considerations and to not make any mistakes. So it is better not to collect information before you get the certificates, because again, I have an example of my group mate who already started her data collection. However, professor like told her to start it again after having the after passing the NU ethics committee. Yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, you can always contact me on this email address. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you, Yerkezhan. Thank you very much. And our last but not the least speaker is a graduate of the program, Dina. Dina, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's definitely a great pleasure and a huge honor to share my experience with you. My name is Dina Abdrakhmanova, and I'm the graduate of MSc in Educational Leadership Program, Higher Education track. I have been admitted to the program right after I got my bachelor's, so I didn't have any experience working in higher education sphere, but I am now. And today I'd like to share with you, first of all, my impressions of the program, the applicability of some of the skills and knowledge I acquired during the program. And of course, I'd like to talk a bit more about my current occupation and job opportunities you will have after you graduate from the program. So the first thing that comes into my mind when I think about my journey, the 2-year journey in NUGSE, is challenge. The second is coffee, because I had offline experience. I was on campus and we drank lots and lots of coffee. So experience is definitely challenging, not only because you will have to think of new research ideas and you'll have to think out of the box. Your ideas and beliefs will definitely be challenged. And also you will have to produce a great work in a relatively small amount of time because of those intensive sessions that Yerkezhan and Valeriya just mentioned. There will be 2 or 3 weeks of those intensive sessions. You'll have to read a lot. And of course, when I say great work, I mean presentations and maybe some projects. Next adjective that I would like to use when I talk about the impressions of the program is rewarding. Yes.
Sorry, we are looking at the first slide. Have you changed it to the second or third one?
It should be this one.
Yeah, it works now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And my experience was also rewarding, not because I came to an understanding that I am actually capable of doing research and oversee the projects. It is rewarding because I met like-minded people who value education as much as I do, who believe that through education we can shape our communities, we can change it for the better, even to a small extent. And I really believe that becoming and being a part of GSE community is priceless, because you get to meet all those amazing people, the guest lecturers, the professors, people who actually work in higher education. They put ideas in your head and you understand that you are capable of making these ideas work and shape our communities. And also, being at GSE and studying there is encouraging because there is constant support from the GSE community. I still am in touch with my group mates. We met a few days ago, also discussed different problems in education, got ourselves a portion of motivation, and came back to our workplaces to make those ideas work. And when it comes to the applicability of some of the skills and knowledge, here on the screen you can see a list of the skills I believe you will be able to enhance during your studies through numerous, countless readings, different cases and papers you'll have to write, reports, the projects you'll have to complete, and presentations you'll have to deliver. And these are some of the most useful courses, useful for me, of course, courses which I took in NUGSE. First of all, it is, of course, research method, because you will need the skills which you develop in research methods to write your thesis paper and to do research later in your occupation. Also, academic writing was extremely useful one. Reforms in Kazakhstan was one of the first courses which we undertook, and to be honest, I didn't know about some of the initiatives that took place, and I didn't know how reforms are being implemented, and this is what I have learned in this course in reforms in Kazakhstan. And for me, for the person who didn't have any experience in a higher education system, I mean working experience in higher education system, this was extremely beneficial. Also, one of the last courses which I took at NUGSE was applying leadership. And I believe this also was one of the greatest courses of the program, because we had to write the strategy for one of the universities. And the last but not least, it's a finance course. We've learned about per capita system there, and some of you may know that from 2020, this is how grants are allocated in Kazakhstan. And as now I'm working with the students, I'll talk about my occupation a little bit later in more details, but because I had this course in NUGSE, it became easier for me to understand how it works in my workplace, and even share this information with some of my colleagues. Now, when it comes to my occupation, I started working as an English language instructor at Kazgil University. And for some period of time, I also was the head of academic quality committee and head of research and ethics committee. I also, for a semester, for a term, worked as the coordinator of internships. And in 2020, I have been appointed as the head of advising office of School of Liberal Arts. Some of my duties are to advise students individually and in groups regarding their core courses and elective courses. At our office, we also assist students with identification of their long-term goals and their career plans. We also work with minority groups, with transfer students, to explain how everything works here. Because at Kazgil, we exercise credit system. It really works here, and for some students, it's really hard to understand how can you, let's say, play with those credits. Also, we have to know all the laws, all the current laws, all the policies of our university, the catalogs, the programs, of course. And I believe that everything I have learned and every skill I have acquired in NUGSE helps me now in my professional journey. And the last point I would like to stop on are the job opportunities that you may have after you graduate from the program. Despite all of us, all of the speakers being English language instructors, please don't think that this is a cliche and this is where you have to start. You can work in admissions because there are many nuances in the system of admissions in Kazakhstan. And if you know the laws, if you know how to work with people, you can go to the admissions. You can come to us and work as an advisor. The job is really challenging, but also rewarding. You can work in career services. You can work as academic program coordinator. This is the person who constructs the program. And he or she also participates in hiring the professors, in establishing the contacts between the university and the labor market. Also a very interesting position. You can work in alumni relations, office of international relations. You can work in quality assurance inside and outside the university in different agencies. It is also very interesting to work in strategic planning offices, and you can also engage in professional development in higher education. And even if you become a lecturer, even if you go to a PhD and become a professor, it's never just a teaching job. It's teaching and doing research to shape our communities, right, for the better. Or it's participating in overseeing the quality of the program delivered. And if you have any questions for me, here is my email. Please write, ask questions, because if you are to become a part of a NUGSE community, you are always welcome to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Dina, very much. That was interesting presentation. And also thank you for sharing your career path. I think this will not be only useful and interesting for applicants, but for the current students as well who are thinking of their career path after the graduation. Thank you, everyone, for this lovely information session. I will close on this point.